baseball games to talk about today. And this is, of course, the Yahoo specific show. And I'm joined by the boss man, Alex Baker. Alex, how you doing, man?
Good man. Scrambling a little bit yesterday. I showed up to my office and my computer was just like dead. I guess the hard drive broke. So I just kind of like reiterated to me that man, you gotta have a backup plan in DFS because you can never like count on anything. So
So what did you do?
apologize. I just saw. Well, I have two computers because if you're playing multiple sites, like you can crunch faster, obviously, like
Right.
using multiple computers. So I just had to switch to this one. Uh, but I didn't have any of the like content software installed or anything, so I'm trying to get everything going today.
Yeah. Man, that's it seems like quite an issue when you're playing the kind of volume you play as well. But
Yeah, fortunately, it didn't happen like at black. I
oh,
guess
okay.
one thing that you recommend that I think is good advice is you set your filler lineup with all like late
Yeah.
guys, and then if like something happens like right before lock, then at least you can like put in some good lineups.
Yeah, so I've been doing that ever since the beginning of the season. I cut it close a couple times at the beginning of the season. So now, I mean, it still sucks if you don't get your lineups in or whatever, but at least you can re-crunch, especially on a big slate like this where you've got some late games to talk about. But yeah, that's people don't think about the tech issues that you can have in DFS, and that can be detrimental. Just losing all your entries on one slate. I saw one of the Sharks. I can't remember who it was for in the NFL season ran like the same train.
Oh yeah,
I was it
propagates,
was it
right?
Papa Gates? Yeah,
Yeah, it was like tens of thousands of dollars or
yeah.
something, right?
So like on an NFL Sunday, you take away one of the whatever. If you count playoffs, like 20 weeks of massive volume. That's a big hit you're taking if you run your dummy lineup. So yeah, it always helps to put in your the late slate guys as your fillers, even if you just click random buttons. Just make sure they're in later games, so you've got at least an hour to adjust if things go bad. All right, so
Yeah.
we got Yahoo today, and I'm excited to talk about this slate. 14 games, but we'll get some of the housekeeping stuff out of the way. So if you guys want to learn how to get your Yahoo Sports rewards points up to $30, that could be you could max out the $3 no management fee with those $30. You go to this article, Emacs Spotlight Hitters article. Always does a great job writing this every day. Um, and he's got the information you need right here to get your $30 of Yahoo Sports rewards points. Promo code is awesomeo, so go read up about that. Of course, you're going to want to read the Yahoo specific article as well. So I just clicked over to that. EMAC does a Yahoo specific article, gives you a breakdown of the salary cap, all the scoring system, and then gives some picks out as well, as we like to do. And that's what we're going to do right now. We've got some strategy talk, and it's all going to be Yahoo specific. So, what do you see about this slate right away, Alex? Do you see anything that jumps off the page to you? I guess we can start with pitchers and just the top owned guys like Bueller. I'm seeing Trevor Bauer being pretty chalky as well. Do you have kind of a favorite guy up at the top?
Yeah, I'm glad that we have this specific show because I think the strategy on Yahoo is kind of evolving pretty quickly because I'm sure you've noticed this, like the top price pitchers, instead of being $60 these days, now they're $50. And that gives you 20 more dollars, like if you stack up two of the top guys to work with. So I think it's like a pretty viable strategy on Yahoo when maybe it's not on some other sites.
Yeah, it's I mean, you're able to fit in more quality pitchers, whereas on some other sites you might see some of the aces priced up, and the one pitcher and two pitcher sites. But here, if you can make like if you could start your lineup with Walker Bueller and Trevor Bauer, there's a reason why these guys are 41% right now and 30% owned. It's because you can fit them with other quality arms, and that's huge. And still getting some quality bats in as well.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent strategy today. Like, I'm not as high on Trevor Bauer. I mean, we can get to it. I think got some other options. I haven't checked the weather in this, let's see, Washington New York Mets game, but is it above 80 degrees? Because that seems to be the tipping point for Strasburg.
Yeah, let me see. I'll pull it up right here. It at game time it's supposed to be 82 degrees. Pretty low humidity, nothing wild there. So we gotta
Man,
X out Strasburg, right?
you're damn right. I
Yeah.
mean, like, obviously we're joking, but there has been a narrative over the past couple of years that he's not that good in heat.
Has,
But
has that actually held up? Or is that just a thing that happened a few games in a row and now it just became a thing for 5 years or whatever?
I'm not even sure the origins, but there does seem to be some sort of at least confirmation bias there. Like when he goes out and he stinks, it's like, oh, it was 80 degrees. But a couple weeks ago, I think he was on a game that was at like 6 p.m. Eastern instead of 7, and it was like super hot, and he had like a ton of fantasy points. So
Yeah, I don't know. We rarely buy into those narratives, but it's fun to joke about and look back and just be like, well, yeah, 80 degrees. There's a reason Strasburg got rocked, but the Mets are red hot. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised based on how they're playing lately, just they're playing as an entire team if you didn't have a quality game here. But is Strasburg someone you're targeting here? He's the highest price pitcher on the slate tonight on Yahoo. So sorting by salary, it goes Strasburg, then Bueller, then Bauer. Ownership is a little bit different than that, but still got Strasburg at 24% owned. Is that a guy you're looking to pick tonight on Yahoo for cash games or tournaments?
yeah, he's showing up in my cash lineup right now. I think, I mean, the top option, I think, according to Vegas and also with fantasy, is Walker Bueller against the Diamondbacks. As you mentioned them earlier. I mean, uh, he's facing the team with the lowest total on the slate. They're running out Robbie Ray, so the money line isn't quite as favorable as it would be otherwise. But he's been really good this season with 29% Ks. I'm projecting the matchup to be fine, and you got to like the fact that it's a West Coast game because when it's August, that means they're generally at lower temperatures than the rest of the games.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense for sure. I think Bueller is probably my number one option. So I agree with the ownership, 41%. Like in a cash game, I think that's probably the guy when we make our cash lineup in a few minutes here. That's probably going to be a guy we're going to land on, maybe Strasburg as well. You mentioned you weren't as interested in Trevor Bauer here. Why is that?
Yeah, I think. I mean, he's a really, really great strikeout pitcher. But it's not like off the charts this season. He's struck out 28% of batters. The Cubs, I don't have them projected to be that easy of a strikeout matchup today with about average strikeouts. But the main factor is the Cubs just are a better team. They have a team total of nearly 5. Bauer is not even a favorite in the game.
Yeah.
And I think you can go to some other guys. So like one that's jumping out at me in addition to the ones we mentioned is Julio Teheran. I mean, any guy who's facing the Marlins, you got to be interested in, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a pretty favorable price at $40, kind of that mid tier as well, and probably a guy that we're gonna look at for tournaments because he's right now he's only 7% owned, going up against we would imagine a pretty righty heavy Marlins lineup, and this year I think he's got pretty even splits. He's been not great the entire season, just a 21% K rate, but for his career he's had a much easier time versus righties. You get him in a really nice park as well. So I was surprised to see Tehran pop up at just 7% ownership on our first run this morning. I wonder if that's going to come up throughout the day. If you're looking for, looking at this mid tier, Caleb Smith actually on the other side at $48 going up against Atlanta. We usually don't like targeting too many pitchers against Atlanta. Is $48 kind of a price you're looking to avoid Smith at?
So here's like the interesting thing. I actually have Tehran, although he's a much, much worse pitcher, projected higher than Smith at a lower
Wow.
price point. And like yesterday, I was really big on Hernandez against Atlanta, but there's a huge difference in the line today. The problem is that Dallas Keuchel strikes out 70% of the time this season, but Julio Teheran only strikes out 24% over the past couple seasons.
Do you think that?
And
Oh, go ahead.
last night, Keuchel didn't make it very deep in the game, so he only had one plate appearance, but it was a strikeout. Um, but usually you're facing the pitcher like two times, and if you take that difference of 50% strikeout rate between the two guys, that equals a whole strikeout.
Yeah. Do you think that that's something that like novice players and even like advanced DFS players, do you think that that's something they overlook the pitcher spot and the pitcher K rate because they can be over 50% at times? Like they just go up and have absolutely no chance. Do you think that's something that's undervalued by other people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's easy to kind of overlook because it requires a little bit more attention to detail to get that in your spreadsheet. But that's a huge opportunity if you're getting 1.5 strikeouts from the number 9 batter on average per game. Like that is going to make a huge difference. That's like 3 fantasy points there.
Yeah. That's something I often overlook, but obviously that's in your projections. If you guys want to get access to the projections on the site, promo code MLB strategy is how you do that. 50% off your first month of any Osmo Plus package with that promo code. So go take advantage of that. All right. Looking into more guys in this mid and kind of lower tier, I'm not seeing a ton of guys get owned. We're seeing Archer in double digits at 12%, Gio Gonzalez at 11% against Texas, and then Drew Smiley down at $28 at 10% ownership. Which one of those three guys is kind of popping up the most for you right now?
I think Smiley, you gotta have some good consideration for him because he's facing the Giants, who, although they've been a little bit better recently, they're still one of the worst lineups in the league. And he's a guy that he's a decent strikeout pitcher, 23% so far this season, and that just adds up to him being quite underpriced at $28.
Yeah, and just the park is so favorable. I think I would pitch myself. I think I would play myself in San Francisco in the right spot, like if I was free. It's just such a favorable park. It seems like no matter how bad you are, no one tends to get blown up there.
I'm having trouble putting this into context, man. What kind of velocity do you have?
I've probably got like a 70 mile per hour fastball
Damn.
change at probably like 50. So I don't have the 10 miles per hour you need. Maybe throw like an ephus pitch up there or something. I don't know. Just throw the batters off for an inning or two. I could be like Stevie Wilkerson. That's more what I'm imagining myself. Get up in the mid 60s, maybe top out at 70 miles an hour.
I like to see that.
Yeah. But pitching in San Francisco, I think I could get an out or two. All right, so the rest of these guys aren't getting much ownership at all. We touched on Tehran. Anything on you, Darvish, you want to mention, or Robbie Ray? Really tough matchup for Ray against the Dodgers. They have one of the best WRC pluses versus either hand, but lefties, righties, it doesn't really matter. Ray's at $44 though. Are you willing to take that risk at 24% ownership in tournaments? And then would he be an option, do you think, in a cash game at that price?
Yeah, I might not put him in cash because I like some of the other guys better, but Vegas has the Dodgers projected for 4.5 runs, which is below average, and oh man, my light ran out of batteries, so I hope you guys enjoyed this skyline behind me instead of seeing me. But so the Dodgers lineup, they're projected to do below average, and they have some strikeouts in it. I have it projected to be slightly better than average for strikeouts. and Robbie Ray gets a lot of strikeouts. So it's not the best matchup, but there's a lot of promise there.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to be someone I get away from just a little bit in tournaments. Like, I don't think I would have 24% if I was making a bunch of lineups on Yahoo. I capped really low, so I got him just because raw point wise, he's going to project okay for that price. But that was one that stuck out to me. I mean, anytime you're getting 24% ownership for a pitcher against the Dodgers, especially when they have, I mean, I guess it's not a high implied total; it's 4.5 about. But still, it's just such a tough matchup for a number of reasons, and it's not like Ray doesn't give up a little bit of power. All right, you want to build a cash lineup now?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so going over to the projections on the site, if you guys want to follow along, Osmo, Alex Baker's projections are on osmo.com, and right under the MLB tab, you can click which site you want to go to. Of course, we're going to choose Yahoo for today. And what we like to do at first is just sort by value and see which players pop up and kind of work from there. So let me get into it. Oh, I already pulled up a contest here. I've got the $15 Yahoo contest pulled up. And right now it's looking like we've got some really cheap values, as we usually do on Yahoo at hitter positions. One of our favorite guys to talk about over recent weeks is Chris Davis, and he's got a really solid projection. But $8 price tag, he's popping up as the number one overall value on the slate. Do you have any concerns with Davis at this point? He's just had a really rough last couple months.
Well, I think it's worth mentioning that this is the early game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like Oakland in this game. They have a team total of 7. I think that's probably the highest I've ever seen.
That's insane.
Part of it is because it is a day game and it's just hotter. So I think if you're playing that all-day slate, then just lock in Chris Davis for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I didn't notice, obviously, that was the day game, but looking at some of the guys on the night game, so let me filter out the White Sox and the Oakland A's. I forgot about that day game. It's usually only the Cubs that have day games on Saturday Friday afternoons. But the White Sox are following suit.
That is a little bit different from the normal.
Yeah. All right. So one guy, when I was running crunches this morning for the cheat sheets, which are also on the site, those are free if you want to check those out. Those are oftentimes based on Alex's projections. One guy that's popping up was Ryan O'Hearn. But the question is with O'Hearn is if we're building a cash lineup, are we going to need those savings at first base, which is a position that you oftentimes want to get a really good hitter?
So I think it's a question of opportunity cost. So what we should do, I'll bring up the first baseman and sort by projection, and I did that, and I found that there's only a 0.5 projected point difference between him at $7 and the top projected bat at 23. So
he's going in then.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you break down the metrics, like this is a guy with a lot of power. He gets on base a decent amount. But the main factor is they're playing the Tigers, and the Tigers are starting. Like I can't even believe this. They're starting Edwin Jackson. I didn't even know he was on the team. But,
yeah, pretty rough. If you guys want to go check out after this show the lengthy discussion that Josh and Adam had on the strategy show about Edwin Jackson, whether or not he should be in the major leagues. That was a pretty fun one. Pretty contentious, friendly argument though about whether or not he should take up a roster spot. And yeah, it's interesting. I could see it on both sides, but he is very bad at this point in his career, and he keeps bouncing around the league. I mean, people thought he was done like 3 or 4 years ago, and he just keeps surviving and seems like a new team every other week. But we got O'Hearn in at $7. I mean, that's clearly our cash game guy, it seems like. Another position, a weaker position that we might want to find some value is catcher. And right now, not counting the White Sox game, Mike Zunino is our highest value catcher on the slate. Do you want to plug him in at $7 here?
Um, so I think it's going to be between Zunino and Grandal here, because I mean Grandal, he's higher up in the order usually, and he's only $11, which seems like a tremendous deal as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's put in Grandal then, and let's see what we get out of this. We can always make a 2v2 swap or 1v1
The
later.
one comment about Grandal is, I guess, it's a lefty-lefty matchup here, which is
Well,
close
he's
to
a switch hitter.
optimal.
He's a switch hitter.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think he does hit better from the left side.
Okay.
But batting cleanup, I mean, going up against Colby Allard, I don't know how long this guy's going to be in the game, especially if the Brewers have a near 6 implied total right now. So I like the call on Grandal. All right, let's look at. Let's see here. Let's look at maybe an outfield spot that we could find some value at. Right now, one of our highest owned guys, or our highest value guys, is Alex Gordon. He's got almost a 10-point projection, one of the better value projections for any outfielder on the main slate here. Usually bats up near the top of the order, and he's of course going up against Edwin Jackson. Do you like you some Alex Gordon in cash?
Yeah, I mean, not a great hitter, but not only Edwin Jackson, but it's going to be in the mid 80s during the game. So it's a very favorable conditions for batters. And I think that a lot of these guys are going to be pretty underpriced for that reason.
Yeah. We might end up with a Kansas City stack here against Edwin Jackson in cash. The more I
Well,
look at it.
actually, like half of the lineup is super expensive, and the other half is super cheap. So it's kind of an interesting spot for that.
Yeah, it'll certainly make for an interesting tournament stack because you've got
Yeah.
Soler at $27, Hunter Dozier. I mean, Hunter Dozier's fine, but he's $20 righty. Merrifield's probably going to be a guy that we might even get to in cash as well, in one of our spend up spots. Is there another guy you're eyeing for this cash lineup right now? We've got Grandal, O'Hearn, Gordon. Those guys took up just $29 of our starting salary.
I like that you mentioned Soler at 27. He's like the same price as Mike Trout today, which is insane. But Mike Trout might be a guy we can slot in depending on how much money we have, because he's my highest projected batter on the slate, nearly 15 projected points.
Wow.
But let's not do that yet. Let's wait until we see how much money we have left after the pitchers.
All right, so we'll keep Trout in the back pocket for a little bit later. I think we're going to be able to squeeze him in. It's going to depend on our pitchers. Do you want to put in a pitcher right now? We like, for our top value pitcher, let's see right now.
I think we both agreed that Walker Buehler is probably the best pitcher on the slate, so let's lock him in.
All right, let's put in Buehler, if I can spell his name right. There we go. $50. All right, so we've got our SP1. SP2 is going to be interesting, whether or not we don't like Bauer that much. You said you're not a huge fan of Bauer tonight, so we probably won't be getting to him in cash, but maybe we just leave the SP2 spot open. I think I'm eyeing down Julio Teheran and or Strasburg. I mean, we could end up paying up for him and get $250+ pitchers up there, depending on how our build is.
No, I like both of those guys for sure.
All right, let's get. Let me X out pitchers here. All right, so looking back at our top values again, we've got first base is covered, so we don't need Jesus Aguilar right now. What about another near min salary priced hitter? I don't often see this guy pop up, but Colin Moran, third base for Pittsburgh. He is right now the top value third base. Second best value. I think there's another guy, $1, that's near the top in the value ratings. He's $1 more expensive. Matt Carpenter, third base option.
Yeah, I think Moran, just kind of like an average hitter. The main appeal is the price. But let's see. I think Carpenter, I ran 150 cash lineups, and Carpenter ended up in 150. So,
Yeah, I missed him. He was right at the top. I started scrolling down, and sure enough,
yeah,
he's right up there as one of the top values in the entire slate.
yeah. I noticed that he's got some injury designation here, but he's probably for today, so I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think he just coming off the DL today or something, or I guess the IL. Oh no, he's
It looks
not.
like he was day to day because it looks like he got demoted to batting sixth in the order for a couple days, and then he had a day off. Um, so I mean, if he's batting sixth, like still he's super underpriced for the kind of player he is, but that would be a pretty big downgrade.
Yeah, so of course pay attention if you're following along. If you're thinking about Carpenter and Cash, it'll be a little bit of a downgrade if he's batting sixth. But if he's batting first, he's a stone cold lock for a cash game lineup, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. So I plugged him in. Now we've got Grandal, Hearn, Carpenter, Gordon, and a bunch of money to play with. $22 of average remaining salary for 5 players. Another outfielder that I was eyeing, dead min salary for Houston is Josh Reddick. Do you think we're gonna need two really cheap outfielders like this? Should we put Reddick in?
I think, yeah, so I mean, Reddick.
Oh, he's predicted
Probably
at ninth. Wow.
Yeah, that's I don't like that much, but a decent player, and Houston has a team total of 7 today, so that means that batting ninth in the order is almost like batting in the middle of the order for a worse team today. So I think he's in consideration for sure.
Yeah, I like it. We'll hold off on him because he's batting ninth. We could probably find a couple better guys that are batting higher in the order. What about our shortstop position? Let's try to fill that because we've got some expensive options that I think are going to be in play. We've got Xander Bogaerts at $26, maybe a bit too expensive. Bo Bichette is up to $26 as well. I mean, he's just come in and started raking, and Yahoo has been very quick to react to that. I don't think he's probably going to be our cash game guy today, but certainly a guy who, if his price drops, it looks like he's going to be a pretty good hitter. Scrolling down a little bit, we've got options like Trevor Story for $20. That's a little bit cheaper than we're used to seeing him on Yahoo. And then Gregorius, I was looking at for the cheat sheets as well. Yankees have a healthy implied total, as they usually do against Sean Reed-Foley. Gregorius projected to bat third. And then, of course, always Francisco Lindor, $21. Seems like he's forever a cash game option as long as he continues to lead off.
Yeah, I think Gregorius at 18 seems like a pretty good bargain. So I like that. He's batting high in the order. The Yankees, as you said, are facing Sean Reed-Foley, and team total 6.5. So there's a lot of factors here that make it like that.
All right, I got Gregorius in there. We've got second base and 2 outfield spots, plus our SP2. Which spot do you want to attack first?
I think there is an obvious second base spot on Yahoo.
Okay.
Right next to Gregorius in the order probably is his buddy Gleyber Torres, and he's only $14 tonight on Yahoo. That seems like a huge discount compared to his production.
Yeah, he's got the day-to-day tag next to him.
Okay.
I think he may have left. It might have been 2 nights ago. All the nights run together for me, but yeah. So he didn't play the last couple nights. So it was 3 nights ago. He left early. I remember I had a ton of Yankees, and so that one hurt. And then the Judge 0 for 5 yesterday hurt. But going right back to these Yankees, I think, is a pretty smart idea, especially in a cash game format. Right now, he's projected to bat 4th. Hard to beat that for $14. A good hitter. Team high implied total. Yeah, I agree. That's a pretty good option, assuming he's in the lineup. Do we want to fill out our pitching spot? $80 remaining.
Nice. Well, that gives us enough money for Strasburg and Trout, I think, right? Do we only have those 2 spots left?
Strasburg and Trout?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, we had three
We
spots.
had 3 spots left. 2
Oh,
outfielders.
my bad. So we can't get both of those guys.
No, we can get. All right, what's the difference in projection between Strasburg and Julio Teheran? Because if that's not huge, right now it's 3.2 points about in your projections.
That's pretty reasonable to drop down.
To drop down to Teheran. All right, let's try getting to Teheran. $40. Now we've got 2 outfield spots. We can go Trout at $27 or Jorge Soler at $27. No, we're putting in Trout, I think, here. And then we've got, we could always make changes, but we've got a $13 outfield spot. This lineup looks pretty strong. I'm liking the look of this so far.
Nice.
But if we go ahead.
Yesterday, I was so confident, man. Like Trout versus Sale. I was like playing that so hard, and it didn't work out so well. Did you try that at all?
I had so much Trout versus Sale. I think I had like 40. I think he was my highest exposed hitter, just all over the place. Like he projected so well for you. You add in like he was low owned. He got you some leverage off of the chalkiest pitcher on the slate. I mean, it was just setting up to be so good. You get the best player in the world at low ownership with leverage and all that, and he flopped. But
I like him a little bit better today versus Brian Johnson than I did versus Chris.
Yeah, I like that. Bold call of the night. This is a better spot than last night against a pitcher who's been incredible for most of the year in Sale.
Yeah.
All right. $13 is our cap here. The $13 outfielders on Yahoo are Bradley, Winker, Inciarte, Naquin, Pence, Lorenzo Cain, I think is a pretty interesting option. And then down to $12, I know another guy I was getting to a lot was Trout's teammate, Justin Upton, who is $12. We would end up leaving $1 on the table. Is Upton projected for more points right now than Cain? Because I think that might make our decision for us, unless you got another guy at 12.
I think Upton's the guy. I mean, the positive between split versus Brian Johnson, and I mean the park is amazing in Fenway, so I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so leaving $1 on the table, just in general. As sort of a general question, do you mind leaving a couple dollars on the table? I mean, $1 is probably not a big issue, but in a cash game format, are you okay leaving like $2, $3, $4 on the table?
So I think that each dollar, let's see. So my projected points are 123. You have $200, so each dollar is worth about 0.6 points on average. So if you can figure out like, so I guess we're leaving 0.6 points on the table, which might make you consider like upgrading or switching things around, but it's like a huge problem.
Okay. Well, is there anyone we need to upgrade? I'm trying to see. It looks like we've got the nuts right now. If Gleiber's out, maybe we could make a 1v1 or a 2v2. So if Gleiber is, for whatever reason, not in the lineup, and then we'll get to some tournament builds, where do you think we should pivot off of him?
Yeah, I mean, my optimal lineup right now, like, it's probably going to change between now and 5, but, like, this is the second best in my crunch with 123.02. But you can get an extra 0.1 if you switch up the Strasburg and switch some stuff around. So, I mean, not really like that big a difference, but
what would that look like? So it would be Strasburg instead of Teheran.
It looks like I have Higashioka instead of Grandal. I mean, he got 35 points the other night, so I feel pretty comfortable about that. And then Andrews instead of Gregorius.
Andrews. Oh, wait. What else am I missing here?
Let's see.
O'Hearn, Gleiber, Matt Carpenter, Gregorius.
Strasburg, I think. Oh, did you get him in? Sorry, I'm a little bit behind the screen.
Do you have a Bueller-Strasburg pairing? Is that what you have?
Bueller, Strasburg, and then yeah, those it's like a 2v2.
So we got
Or wait, no,
Higashioka.
sorry, 3v3.
Okay, so we're taking out Andrews. Or I'm sorry. No, you had it right. You had it right. I messed that up. All right, so right now the optimal would be Bueller, Strasburg, Higashioka, O'Hearn, Gleyber Torres, Matt Carpenter, Elvis Andrews, Alex Gordon, Mike Trout, and Justin Upton. So a couple mini stacks, 3 mini stacks mixed in there. Yankees mini, Higashioka, Torres, KC mini, Gordon, O'Hearn, and then a Angels mini, Trout, Upton. Pretty
Yeah,
solid.
yeah. As soon as I saw Edwin Jackson pitching, I mean, we knew we were going to get a stack of that, right?
Yeah. Well, let's make a tournament lineup then. Do you want to
All right,
start? You want to start stacking up some of these Royals?
so well, I think on Fridays the top stack pool is free, so you guys can follow along with us here.
Yeah, I'll pull it up on the screen. So
So
just home screen, Osmos
yeah,
top stacks. This is, I think this is the best tool on the site for like a quick, comprehensive look of the slate. So
thanks, man. Yeah, I think this is our tool that combines the projections and ownership, so it's useful to kind of like look at both simultaneously.
yeah, it's fantastic. And oftentimes you'll see a couple teams like on a site like this where, oh wait, do you have it updated for Yahoo right now?
Um,
Let's see. Because I think this is from yesterday. Yankees, Red Sox. There's only 16 teams, so I think it should be 28, right?
Yeah, you're right. This is it's a little bit weird because it's supposed to update with the ownership. So let me see what's going on there.
Yeah. All right. I'll start. I'll start looking at some teams, or if you guys in chat want to shout out some teams that you want us to take a look at, that would be great as well. We've got the Red Sox at a 6.4 implied total against Jaime Barria. We've got the Yankees against Sean Reed Foley, who we had a couple guys in cash for the Yankees because of that high implied total and the good pricing. The Astros are super expensive. Oftentimes in the top stack tool, you will see teams that are expensive that don't grade out as great values, but like raw point wise, they're good. Or like one of the best teams. Those teams will be going undervalued based on their ownership compared to their chances of actually being the top stack. And a lot of people pay, I think, a little bit too much attention to point per dollar in baseball, a super high event-based sport, where point per dollar doesn't really matter that much in tournaments, right, Alex?
Yeah, definitely. I think like optimizing points per dollar in tournaments is probably like gonna make you create worse lineups because like the problem is just like it's too easy to make the optimal lineups and it requires more creativity to make a suboptimal lineup. So I find that pivoting off some of the chalk plays is pretty essential.
So is that what you mean? Like, I think some people will get confused with like the optimal lineup. Like, there's no such thing as like the optimal tournament lineup, correct? Because then you probably oftentimes wouldn't be stacking. So the optimal lineup would mean, or like a suboptimal lineup is actually a good thing for a tournament, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just talking about optimal like points. So like when you run a lineup optimizer, you can only optimize for one factor at a time. So if you're optimizing for points, you're going to end up with some really high owned lineups.
Right, exactly.
So I just I updated the top stacks
Cool.
On my spreadsheet here. So right now, Kansas City is coming in with 6.4% ownership and a 7.1% chance of being the top stack, but 19% chance of being the top value stack within that.
You said what was their ownership?
Here, let me send this to you.
I'm seeing a ton.
So the ownership is 6.4%. The top stack percentage is 7.1%.
Okay.
It's not updated on the website yet. So
Got it. So they're coming in a little bit overvalued, but
well, no, it's actually a good value
oh,
because
okay.
6.4% ownership and 7.1% chance of being the top stack.
All right. Oh, cool.
Well, I think the reason why is because there are like 4 really good plays on the Royals and like 4 really overpriced ones.
You're right. So people are playing the ones that are good values, but they're not playing the ones that are kind of the bad values.
Exactly.
Like with the Yankees, what we saw a few nights ago is like some of the Yankees have been priced up, but towards the bottom of the order, or any expensive team, when you've got like a 7-hitter at $20, people just aren't going to play that. Like Yuli Gurriel and the Astros, Correa at 22. I mean, they're tough to fit in when you just run the optimizer. But that makes them really good tournament stacks that oftentimes go a little bit overlooked. So
for sure, I think if you get Soler in your lineup, like it's really hard to click that button and set a trap, but that's going to make your lineup compete with a lot fewer lineups that are similar.
Yeah, for sure. Because like I'm looking at my lineups right now, and I created 500 and capped pretty low. I got 16% Kansas City stacks, 79 out of 500 6-mans, and looking at the top projected lineups, they're all KC, but basically none of them are with Jorge Soler. So if you just put it in that one player, his ownership right now, if I can find it quick, I'm guessing it's very, very low. But he's just going to make your lineup different, even though you're taking a stack that's a little bit popular on a 14-game slate.
Yeah, I mean, not only does he make your lineup different, but he's like the best player on the team potentially. I have him as the second highest projected player, so if the stack goes off, there's a pretty high potential he's going to be one of the higher scorers on the team.
Yeah, right now at 0.2% ownership. So it's just crazy that you can get a hitter in the middle of the order who's, overpriced, but at that kind of ownership. I mean, it just goes to show how profitable tournaments can be because people are unwilling to put in these bad value plays. So do you want to make a KC stack with Soler in it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm putting in Soler. I think any other guys that you think really need to be in here?
I think Gordon and O'Hearn just are insane values. So if we're getting Soler, it makes sense to have them just kind of to balance out our points per dollar.
Sure. All right, so O'Hearn, Soler, Gordon. Now we've got some choices to make. We're probably going to have to get one of these 7, 8, or 9 hitters in there because everyone else is pretty expensive. We got Dozier at 20, Merrifield 21, Cuthbert 17. Do any of those guys look appealing to you? And I guess we don't have to make a 6-man stack. We can make a 5-man if we need to. But do you want to include – do you have like a pecking order of any of the remaining hitters?
Yeah, I think that Merrifield, and he gets a lot of stolen bases, and he's batting first potentially. So like that, Hunter Dozier has the power to drive him in. So I mean, if we have those 5 guys, that's a pretty solid start.
Let's do it. All right, we got O'Hearn, Merrifield, Dozier, Soler, Gordon, all guys in the top 6 of the projected order. Let's look at some pitching here. I have a strong feeling we're going to get to some Drew Smiley here at $28.
Yeah, I mean, that's who you got to go for if you have Soler, I think.
Yeah, so you're going to end up with, Smiley or Josh's boy Kyle Freeland or, someone that is, not in a great spot, not in an optimal spot, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I think Chris Rendon puts it well. Like when you put in a guy like Smiley, you're having some serious FOMO because of all the better players you could fit in there. But that's what you got to do to make the lineup work.
Yeah, you've made a killing off of not having that FOMO, right?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I still have the FOMO. I just have to cope with it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so do we want to go double cheap pitcher here? Do we have anyone like Cal Quantrill, $34, Chris Archer, $35, or we could get up to Tehran as kind of our SP1 at $40. Any of those sound appealing to you?
Yeah, I mean, I like Tehran. I think we'll have the money to fit him in there. So
Yeah. So we got $46 remaining, just over $15 per player. Catcher spot, shortstop, outfield, and since we have Soler in this lineup, we're already going to be different. Um, so we can get in some just like the best plays at each position, right?
yeah, I think so. I mean,
So the highest or the highest projected catcher, I believe, is Grandal, or he's one of the highest ones at
yeah,
$11.
yeah.
All right, so we got Grandal in there now, 1750 per player. Some of
Well, I
the
think that Gregorius maybe is he at shortstop or no? Is it Torres at
Torres
no?
is
There
second
those guys
base.
are
Yeah,
back there.
they're switched
Okay.
around depending on the site. Gregorius as the shortstop at $18. Do we want to try that?
Okay, he's the shortstop. Okay, yeah, I like that.
All right, now we've got $17 for our final outfield spot, and let's see here. Can we fit in any KC bats? No, Cuthbert is a first baseman, but that would have fit perfectly. So you can only
Talk
play.
about contrarian going for Cuthbert over O'Hearn tonight.
Yeah, uh, man, that would be a. I mean, he's batting higher in the order. He probably projects as a better raw point play, right?
Let's see. So I think the platoon split is giving
Oh yeah.
O'Hearn a slight edge there.
Okay, but still, I mean, that would be another way to get different. Just leaving out O'Hearn in your KC stack.
Yeah.
Um, Not a lot of people are going to do that on Yahoo. All right, outfield, $17 remaining. Meadows, Pham, Calhoun, Otani, Grichuk at $16. Nick Castellanos, who's been raking since going over to the Cubs. Any of these guys spectacular value plays or raw point plays that we need to get in?
Um.
I'll just pull up the salary here. Just go to what do we have? $17. Pham is right now the highest projected player, $17 and below, for an
Yeah, I think
outfield spot.
Bam is a great GPP play too because he does it all, like with the stolen bases and power. So I doubt he'll be like super popular tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's always a candidate for a stolen base or two, up against Marco Gonzalez. Does that hurt him at all for stolen bases going up against a lefty pitcher?
Yeah, but the nice thing about a guy like Pham is that when he's facing the lefty, like the power is better.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
I think
yeah, so give and take, it kind of balances each other out, right?
yeah, those guys like Trey Turner, Tommy Pham, they're good versus both sides of the pitcher pretty equally.
Got it. Cool. All right, so this is our GPP lineup, our contrarian KC stack. Smiley, Tehran pairing at pitcher. Grandal, Gregorius, Pham are our one-offs. We've got a five-man KC, O'Hearn, Merrifield, Dozier, Soler, and Alex Gordon. So pretty good pieces all around there. If we can stomach the pitching here, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get a little bit lucky at the pitcher spot for sure.
Yeah. Uh, is Yahoo having technical problems for anyone else? Looks like it's good for me, but I haven't tried to submit the lineup, so maybe that's what people are having trouble with, or maybe you're in a banned state. That's also possible. Someone wanted the pharmacist Yahoo. Oh, not Yahoo. Yoho in Slack wanted the Angels stack. What do you think about the Angels tonight?
I like obviously. I mean, like we are talking about some of these guys versus Brian Johnson as great plays. I think that there's a lot of potential there. The ownership is going to be quite high on the players you want, though, like Upton and Trout. So let me pull up their ownership real quick. So let's see.
Yeah, and those are also the best parts of the stack, which makes it a little bit frustrating, you know.
Yeah, it's like Trout is 16%, Upton 15, Otani is 17,
Wow.
Fletcher is 21. So like to differentiate your lineup, you got to pick some really like terrible players like Wilfredo Tovar is supposed to be in the lineup or something.
Max Stassi, yeah, something like that. All right, let's go to a different team.
Yeah, I don't hate that, but it's not my favorite play. So.
Okay. Do you want to attempt to build a Houston stack here? It's going to be similar to the one we just did with KC with Soler, but I mean, are they almost impossible to build a 5-man even?
Yeah, so this is like it's crazy because they registered as a 0% chance to be the tally stack of the night, and that's because the first 7 batters are all over $20. But as a team, they have huge potential. So I think you could make a pretty nice stack here, like kind of similar to our Kansas City lineup, as you said, with like Springer. I'd probably skip Altuve because he's 25 and not as good as people are these days. But Brantley, Bregman, Alvarez.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be really difficult. Like I love the idea of stacking them because they've got a massive total against a home run prone pitcher in Bundy, but on Yahoo it is really, really difficult. Even if you want to get a 5-man stack and get 5 of those first 7, you're spending well over $100 on hitting alone in 5 hitters. So you'd be playing like Drew Smiley and I don't even know, probably Bundy or someone like that, just min salary guys, and hoping you can get 10 to 15 points out of each of them, and then your stack has to go nuts as well. So do you usually disregard the teams that show up as like almost no chance at the top value?
No, I mean, actually, I think I must have like had something in there wrong because I'm getting a good number of stacks here of Houston when I ran my crunch.
All right, let me see what I got. Did I get any Houston? I prioritized hitters, so I multiplied all my hitters by a constant, and that way I was able to get 12 Houston stacks out of 500. So maybe it's not as impossible as it looked, but you're going to end up with a lot of Josh Reddick, probably a lot of Martin Maldonado, and or both of those guys. So my first 6 projected Houston stacks all have Reddick and Maldonado. Actually, all of them all have Reddick and Maldonado. So would you just make it a 5 then?
Yeah, I think that's a good option where like you can get a lot of projection added to your lineup when you stack fewer players from the team, and if not that many people are stacking it up, like you're not at too big a disadvantage to those players.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we looked at Houston. Let's build one more, and then we'll get out of here.
All right,
what stack do you like that you think is it's got a good chance or decent chance at value? It's kind of solid across the board, ownership, top stack, value. Which one's jumping off to you?
I think Boston and Houston are about equal for me because Boston like also near 17 total, and the ownership isn't going to be that high, so that's a nice combo.
All right, cool. Let's build a Boston one quick. Probably going to want in Betts and JD, right? Oh, do you have to get going?
This is my alarm for the 1 p.m. calls, but that's fine.
All right, let's do Betts and JD really quick. Probably want to get in. Do we like Moreland at $12?
I like that a lot, yeah.
All right, Moreland. Let's put in, Bradley or Brock Holt, I guess we're probably going to have to get to.
I mean, Bradley's a good player. It's only the lineup spot that's not usually that good.
All right, we'll try to leave in Bradley, and then we've got either Devers, Vasquez, Benintendi, Bogarts, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Bogarts.
Yeah, I think you can pick any of these guys. They're all projected to do really well tonight.
Cool. Let's do Bogarts, and then I don't know. I wonder if we can even fit in Devers. We probably can, and then we've got probably min salary with our second base and catcher positions, and then we're still gonna have to punt pitcher. Do we have any min salary second baseman we like tonight?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the second base, the one that. So I think.
I tried to fit in Gleiber.
Yeah, he's the cash one.
I fit in Gleiber and Higashioka, although I don't think you can do a 6-2 stack.
All right, let me pull my projections here. So I think there are some good second base options at 7. Or if we go up to 8, we could get Luis Arias for the Twins. I mean, probably not like a great player, but that's a good team. So maybe you get some extra at bats.
He's batting like 370. They kept talking about it yesterday at the game. I was at the Twins game yesterday, and they're just obsessed with this guy. But I think he's playing in the wrong era. One of those guys that would be considered a great hitter like maybe 20 years ago. Today, it's like not hitting for much power at all.
Yeah, I think his stats actually are pretty impressive aside from the power. So that's pretty nice. The matchup versus Bieber is pretty suboptimal, but I guess he's been batting pretty high in the order recently, so that's a decent play.
Yeah. All right, so here's what I got. 6-man Boston, Moreland, Devers, Bogarts, Betts, JD, Jackie Bradley, 1 off Arias, and 1 off Higashioka, Drew Smiley in the first pitcher spot, and now we've got $34 remaining for our final pitcher.
Let's see who we can pick there.
Hap, Quantrill, that's probably where it's going to stop for us. I think you might have Hap as your best guy at 34 below.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm a little concerned about that, but
just because he hasn't been good.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I have to go and update some stuff there. So, I think I'll end up with Quantrill then.
Cool. Let's put in Quantrill. There you go. There's your Boston stack. 6-man, 2 1-offs. That's a pretty good looking lineup until you get up to the pitchers. But those guys do, I mean, these cheap pitchers do have upside if they can even go 5 innings and get strikeouts. So, man, pretty good show. That went by in an hour.
Yeah, it was cool having the show without Josh today. I mean, he always likes to talk. So,
yeah, I got a lot of FaceTime with the boss. Again, promo code AWESEMO if you are taking advantage of the $30, up to $30 of Yahoo Sports rewards points. Go check out EMAX Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article. If you missed the rake-free tournament, the management fee-free tournament today on Yahoo, you'll have another chance at it tomorrow. You got to get in early, though. It's usually about $4,500 in total prizes, usually $500 to first, and it's management fee free. So go take advantage of that. You're not going to find a better tournament across the industry. Anything else for Alex?
Jake, I gotta ask you, man. Did you see that shade Yahoo was throwing fantasy draft last night?
No, I didn't. Was it on Twitter?
Yeah, like apparently fantasy draft was like we have the first $1 million prize pool, like no rake tournament, and Yahoo was like, WTF? We did that last year.
Yeah, didn't Yahoo do it and guaranteed rake? Or guaranteed?
Yeah,
guaranteed.
I think I'm excited to see what they come out with the NFL because I'm sure we'll see some good offerings there.
Yeah, it's nice to have some healthy competition between the sites. Hopefully, it's good overall for the industry.
I wouldn't be that surprised if Yahoo came out with $1 million in one prize.
That would be epic. That'd be funny. I hope they do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we log off here?
Just thanks Yahoo for sponsoring the show, and thanks everyone for watching.
All right. We'll see you guys back for the deeper dive at 5 p.m. Eastern, and then Chris and myself for Live Before Lock taking you up until 7:05 Eastern. Good luck tonight, guys.